And we begin this afternoon with following day one of the trial in Samantha Woll's murder. Thank you for joining us today at 5. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Simon Shakette. Samantha Woll was a beloved Jewish community leader, killed last October. A Detroit man, Michael Jackson-Bolanos, has been charged with her murder.
This trial is already gaining national attention. 7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michaels was in court for opening statements.
She joins us live outside the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice with arguments from both sides. Sarah?
Disturbing opening statements inside this courthouse today as both the prosecution and the defense outlined the brutal and tragic murder of Samantha Woll, both showing evidence that the public has never seen until now.
There is a reason that we lock our doors at night when we go to sleep. It is because of people who lurk in the night, people who could do us harm.
She was stabbed 8 times. In the neck, in the back of the head, in the back of the neck. To me, that would indicate a crime of passion. This wasn't just some random person walking into her house trying to steal anything.
Opening statements of the Samantha Woll murder trial brought with it a more detailed account of what happened to the beloved Jewish community leader in the early morning hours of October 21st, when she was murdered at her home in the Lafayette neighborhood of Detroit.
At her home, at a place where she was supposed to be safe, she was stabbed to death. And the evidence in this case is going to show you that the man who did this to her is this man right here, the defendant, Michael Jackson-Bolanos.
The prosecution painting a picture of the defendant Michael Jackson-Bolanos prowling through Detroit the night of Woll's murder that allegedly shows Bolanos breaking into people's cars. The prosecution said the footage puts Bolanos in Woll's neighborhood the night of her murder. They said data from Woll's home security system shows that when she allegedly went to bed around 1 a.m., the security system shows no activity. That's until around 4:20, when they say Bolanos walked into her unlocked home and stabbed her 8 times to death. The prosecution says cell phone data also puts Bolanos in Woll's home that night of her murder, and their most key piece of evidence, when Bolanos was arrested, his girlfriend's apartment was searched, and inside the apartment, investigators say they found the same black North Face jacket that he's seen wearing the night of her murder on video camera, and a backpack. Both were tested by a forensic lab, and spots of blood were found on them that were, quote, astronomically likely to be Samantha Woll's blood.
They found that it was 2.2 trillion times more likely to be her DNA in that blood.
She was beaten up. She had contusions on her face. She had bruises on her face. She struggled. Whoever this was, she struggled with them, and this particular situation took time. This wasn't a situation that took 1 minute to do. It was evidence that there was a struggle in multiple rooms.
The defense referenced photos of Woll's apartment, saying it's clear that there was a struggle and a great deal of blood. They asked, why would Bolanos brutally murder a stranger and steal nothing? The defense also brought forth video of Bolanos walking through Greektown minutes after the prosecution's projected time of the murder. He's seen walking towards people. The defense asks that if there was that much blood at the murder scene, wouldn't Bolanos be covered in it? Why would he be walking towards people instead of hiding? And how would it be possible he could be doing so just minutes after the murder?
He's indicating like, hey, if I did what they said I did with all this blood, I'd have been covered in blood.
Both the defense and the prosecution also talked at length about an ex-boyfriend of Woll's who in November called police under the influence of antidepressants and cannabis and admitted to killing Woll, then later retracted that statement. Court resumes here tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll be here. Reporting live in Detroit, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
Thank you, Sarah. So tough to listen to that.
Really is. All right.